So welcome guys to Rest of Designs, the channel that brings you Mark II, Mark III content. And today's video is all about the GTD open air project. And as you can have guessed already, we're covering the exhaust. So I'm basically going to be dealing with the downpipe and the rest of the exhaust system. But before we get into the exhaust system, I've got a few bits that I've been kind of tripping over, which is these little fins for the bumper and also the side skirts. Okay, let's talk more action. Let's get these side skirts fitted. I'm trying to figure out actually, I can't remember. Does a small end go at the front or at the back? I think it's that way around. Let me have a quick look. Let me see what fits on the car and how it works. Okay, so it's the larger ones go at the front. That looks more natural. And the rear one is the smaller ones. Okay, cool. So then all it needs is to be screwed in. Okay, so that was pretty easy. Just six, seven screws on there. They're all on, at least they're out the way. So I just got the other two to put on the other side. And I can get on with starting to hang this exhaust. Okay, so like I said at the top of the video, before we get into the exhaust system, I'm kind of tidying up, but as I tidy up, I'm kind of fitting things onto the car as well. I got myself a few sets of these, which are the fins for the front bumper. They come on the GTI models, 16 valves and VRs. My bumper, or this car, didn't have them when I got the car, so I sourced myself a set. So what I'm going to do is going to quickly just put these on, so one, they don't get lost or damaged. I gave them a bit of a clean. So these are the fins. You see, like, they look quite thin, and I think these just make them look a bit more beefier. They basically just literally just clip in at the top and at the bottom. There we go. Drop down. Pretty easy. And also, it just gives it a definitely different look, doesn't it? With the one that hasn't got anything to, looks quite nice. Also, it'll match the arches and stuff with the matte black on it. And this is what the bumper, like, I also sourced the other indicator that was missing. So I love the way the amber just pops off this colour. You know, really, back in the day, we wouldn't put smoked or clears or, nah, it's just, so I really do like these amber looks on the car, and on this coloured car, I think it's really going to work. Okay, so back to what we said at the top of the video, which is dealing with the exhaust system from basically turbo back. This is a miltec system. I brought this from the UK. It's obviously seen better days. I'm still in two minds if I'm going to cut those tailpipes off and just put, you know, the kind of TDI looking ones that poke down, so it's a bit more discreet. I'm still in two minds. But what I am going to do is I'm probably going to fit it as it is, and then I can remove it later and decide what I'm going to do. And to make life so much more easier, I've got also myself a set of these Vbands. I've got these off eBay. They kind of interlock. You know, they just make life so easy. Literally, you just take off the 13. So I also had to get myself a reducer that goes from 2.5 to 2 1/4, because the system's 2 1/4. And like I said, I'm going to give this a clean before I put it on. I'm going to wire brush it down and just jet wash it and see if I can, with a bit of metal polish, get the boxes at least looking new again. The pipes, I think, have gone way past that, but that's fine by me as long as they're not rusted through. And also have to get myself 4 rubbers as well. Okay, so let's go and give this old exhaust miltec system and see if we can bring it back to life. Okay, so the wire brush and some cleaning products, I was able to get the tips pretty clean. I didn't bother cleaning the inside, but I might do when they're actually mounted on the car. Kind of gave the pipes a good rub down. They kind of came back a little bit, but I don't think there's no comeback from that. But the boxes look good, that bracket looks good. So yeah, so before I also commit to actually welding these on properly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them to where I think they should be, which is about there. And then I'm just going to put kind of maybe 3 or 4 spots on them to spot weld them on both sides to make sure the length is perfect and the angle, in case the angle is slightly different as well, I can modify it afterwards. Okay, so I've done the easy bit first. So I've welded the reducer onto the standard system and put the V-band on. So now next is going to be, I'm going to tack the V-band on here and then actually hang this on the car. Had to make my own little hangers here so I can get it sitting perfectly how I want it. Which is going to go onto the downpipe, the other half of that. Okay, so it looks perfectly straight, and with these V-bands now it's not going to move. So now that the exhaust system is done, I'm going to start downpipe. So already I've started by actually just tacking this Type 45 onto this, I don't know, a reducer, but the other way around. Obviously goes from 2.5 to 2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it shorter, but what I want to do is obviously measure how short I can cut it, to make sure I can still take the nuts off and on. I've got winder studs in, so I've just not locked 2 13s together. Came with a new gasket, and these are the flanges that I get cut. Instead of it being a 48mm, it's actually a 51mm, same size as the gasket, and same size as the pipe. So the pipe fits in there snugly, and then you can just easily just weld around it. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is now, first things first, put these studs in, put the flange up, and then see how far I can go with this once the studs are in, how short I can cut this so that it clears the selector cables. You'll see in a minute what I mean by that. And okay, so I've got the old tape measure out, and I don't know if you guys can see in there. Hopefully the light can reach. Okay, so I've got 100mm, and I'm looking at the nut, which I don't know if you can see the nut on there, will actually go 15mm. So I could probably get away with cutting this down to about there, 60. And that should be leaving me way enough space to actually get the nuts off and on, and leave it short enough that it clears these selector cables here, and see if it clears this and leaves me in a nice position to get the right angle to go down. Up the burrs. So it's almost over. The pain of welding underneath the car and kind of spotting it and getting the right angles and all stuff. This is the downpipe. As you can see, I've wrapped it in Kevlar heat wrap to control those under bonnet temperatures. And now it's just a matter of just bolting this on, clamping it all up, and that's done, and the exhaust is finished. So let's talk more action. Okay, so let's get this on the car finally. That's another thing scratched off the list, the exhaust system done. Okay guys, so we've come to the end of another video, and as you guys can see, the exhaust is all done, from turbo all the way back to the rear bumper to the tailpipes, however you want to call it, but it's done. It was blood, sweat and tears to make that downpipe, and make up the hangers and get it all done, and lots of welding, but it's finished. So that's the exhaust done, suspension done, all those bits and bobs done. Now for Sunday's video is going to be part 1 of the charge cooler setup. So on Sunday's video, I'll be tackling on how I'm going to mount this, where is it going to go, and also dealing with a few other bits that need to be done. Sort out, now that I've done the downpipe, I can put those coolant pipes around the back there, and also I want to finish off the intake pipe. But mainly it's going to be all about this, finding the position for this and start figuring out how and where I'm going to mount this. So see you guys on Sunday. Peace out. Subscribe, ding-a-ling-a-ling, click that bell.